Alright, so here we have everything we're going to need today. We got a pair of needle nose pliers, got a hammer or mallet of some kind. You're going to need a 13mm socket. 3/8 ratchet's fine. Mine's in the basement, too lazy to go get it, so I'm going to use a 1/2 inch with an adapter. And enough extension that we'll have to reach down into the bay to get to the nut. Then we have the parts from USP Motorsports. Got a nice sticker, this little thank you note, some gummy bears of course. Then we got the short shifter itself, the 3 pins, the nut that will go on the bottom side of the pin, and then a washer for the top. Alright, so first you gotta go take out the air box. And in order to take out the air box, you're gonna have to remove this clamp here, got the MAF sensor, vacuum line, and then you got 2 rubber grommets that are held on just by studs. So there's one here, and there's one here in the corner. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that out. Alright, so now with the air box off, you can see the shifter here. You got the shift linkage. There's just a clip holding that onto the assembly, and then there's a 13mm nut holding the linkage to the transmission. So what we're going to do is you're going to slide that off. Got the pliers, we're going to grab it. It's going to come off this way. We'll just set that to the side, and then the 13mm nut can come off. And then from there with the hammer, well, you got the socket attached, you can knock this loose so you can pull it up a lot easier. We'll set the nut to the side. And then we should be able to swap out our new assembly. We should be good. Alright, now with the air box off, you can see here you got the shifter, got the linkage. That's got the pin holding it on. That's where we're going to use the pliers to pull it this way. Got that 13mm socket. That's going to come off. And before we take that off all the way, we can knock it loose with the mallet. That way this will come up nice and easy. Off nice and easy. Little pin that holds that in place. We're just going to set that to the side so we don't lose it. With that, the linkage can come right up. We're just going to push it right off to the side. Out that off. Going to take our extension. I'm only going to use my one extension with the 13mm nut. Enough room to get in there with that. So what I did wrong there is I didn't have it in neutral. So I just threw it back in neutral so then it had some play. As you can see, it knocked right off right there. So we're just going to work it out. And there she is. So here you have the stock shifter, and then here you have the Ronal short shifter sold by USP Motorsports. Notice they're pretty much the same geometry. The only difference, you're changing the pivot point from where it's mounted. So here you got the adjustability to go either way with it. So now that we mount our pin, we're going to use this nut supplied by them. It's going to go on the bottom side, and we'll be able to adjust it all the way out, being the longest throw. It's going to take the longest rotation all the way in for the shortest throw. Now they recommend doing about 1/4 the way in. I'm just going to go right ahead and make the shortest, see the biggest change we can get, and hope for the best. So when you flip it over, this will fit right on the inside, and it'll lock right in place into the track. So now with this tight in the spot that we want it, before we throw it on, I'm going to take a little bit of grease, add it right in here. This is just going to help give it a little less resistance, hopefully give us a little longer life, a little less issues. So I got it slightly on. So now that's slightly on. I got the slot lined up where there's less tooth. Just gonna get this finger tight. I am missing the washer, but I'm gonna go ahead and just give it a turn, just to get it seated a little bit more. Feel that it's going on nice and easy. Little resistance, but nothing nothing to be worried about. I'm gonna throw this washer on. Throw my nut back on. Hopefully they went on that side, hopefully not on the other side, but it shouldn't be too big a deal either way. Now, this linkage should go right on top of there. Easy peasy. And then this clip will slide right over, lock in place. Everything looks good. So right there we have neutral. So now right here we have neutral. I'm gonna go ahead and just run it through the gears just to make sure it looks good, and you should be able to see it working fine. Alright, wish I had a little better lighting to show you this, but I'm gonna use my phone flashlight. Some people prefer the notchiness, they like how it feels, they like the direct contact. Some people think it feels rough. So far it doesn't feel too bad. I'll have to give it some time. Not sure if I want to throw any shorter, if I'll have to do any adjustments, but hopefully this helped out with installing the short throw shifter, removal of the air box,